What have you learned about tolerance towards people after being at Angel Mountain Placement Foundation? I learned that tolerance is not something that comes easily to a person. It takes time to have different tolerance towards different things. But I know for a fact that volunteering at Angel Mountain Placement has definitely increased my tolerance level. After being at Angel Mountain Placement Foundation for a while, how do you think that has affected your human ambivalence as a person? Well, it has for sure gotten better. I mean, most people usually are more selfish before volunteering. I will definitely be more open-minded now than I was before I started, but human ambivalence isn't necessarily something that changes overnight. And even though I no longer have mixed feelings about my outreach placement in particular, it doesn't mean I won't have any mixed feelings about the next thing that is presented to me. How has being around these less fortunate participants changed your self-acceptance? Do you think that you are still the same person as you were when you first started the outreach program? Being around less fortunate people than me makes me sad, but at the same time, it makes me feel better as a person. Sometimes when someone's going through a tough time and sees these participants happy and smiling, it really touches you, and you start asking yourself, is it really fair to be upset when you really are living a good life? I truly believe that I'm a better version of myself now than I was when I started. To you, is volunteering about making yourself feel better, or is it about making the participants feel better? And is it wrong to feel good about yourself after volunteering? Is it considered selfish? To be honest, yes. A part of volunteering is about making yourself feel better, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It simply means that helping less fortunate people, like the participants, makes you feel good about yourself, and I think there's nothing selfish or wrong about that. If you walk out of the place feeling good about yourself, that's a good thing. What would be the point in volunteering if you walk out of the place and feel the exact same way as you did when you first walked in? Nowadays especially, do you feel that schools are forcing their students to volunteer? What is your take on that? Yes, but that doesn't mean that people shouldn't do it voluntarily. At my old school, we had a program called Week Without Walls, which is when you pick a country, you don't have to leave the country, and for 1 week you go there and you volunteer. During my Week Without Walls, I went to Cambodia and we visited orphanages and helped them dig holes in their yards. We supported an up-and-coming school for the less fortunate kids that don't have parents, and even though it was programmed by the school, it didn't feel obligated. People nowadays are volunteering just because it looks better on their application, but that's wrong. Volunteer work shouldn't be forced, because if it is, it becomes community service rather than volunteering. In your opinion, does volunteering with participants who have intellectual disabilities require a lot of patience? If so, why? And if you aren't a very patient person, should you pick a place like Angel Mountain Placement Foundation as your outreach program? Absolutely. One thing I've learned from volunteering at Kiwanis this summer is that nothing can be done if you have no patience, especially with mentally challenged kids who can't enunciate as easily as us, who need to repeat numerous times before you can understand what they are trying to say. If you aren't a very patient person, should you pick a place like Angel Mountain Placement Foundation? No. Not to be mean or anything, but if I had to give advice, the first thing I would ask is, are you a patient person and are you willing to work on that? Or else that person is screwed. Name one difficulty that you might have faced while volunteering at Angel Mountain Placement Foundation. How did you overcome that difficulty? One difficulty was trying to interact with the participants while they were clearly more interested in their lunch than me. So to overcome that difficulty, I decided to conversationalize with them about their lunch. But truthfully, I don't remember there being any actual difficulties. Have you already had experience volunteering before the outreach program? If so, how is it different or similar to Angel Mountain Placement Foundation? Yes, I volunteered at Kiwanis during the summer. I found it really interesting to go to Angelman and compare the two because they are actually very different. Well, for starters, their ages. Kiwanis is a day camp for younger kids, while Angelman is more of like a work atmosphere for older kids. The activities and schedule during the day are also different. At Angelman, we test their intellectual abilities. For example, we try to teach them to understand how to use computers, while at Kiwanis, we are more there to entertain them, for example, pushing them on a swing. Also, the participants might be able to communicate better at Angelman than at Kiwanis. What do you think it takes to be a good volunteer at WIA? To be a good volunteer at WIA, you can't be a germaphobe and you can't get disgusted easily. You have to be ready for the worst thing that could possibly happen. Also, you must have patience and you can't be selfish because when you are there, you have to focus your energy on them, not on yourself. Do you think it's fair for society to be selfish and ignore the mentally handicapped as well as the less fortunate just for being different? Do you think that this is one of the reasons that our civilization should take volunteering into consideration? No way. Being different doesn't necessarily mean that they are incapable of accomplishing some of the things of which we are capable, and I doubt very much that it means that they should be ignored. If anything, we should include them more often, give them a chance to feel equal and loved. Do you think that this is one of the reasons that our civilization should take volunteering into consideration? Positively. The more volunteering becomes a part of our civilization, the more they are included, so yes, 100 times yes.